My next guest is the fourth-ranked bantamweight in the world who takes on Marlon Moraes June 1st at UFC Utica in the main event. He is Jimmie Rivera. Jimmie, how are you? How's it going?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Jimmie, how are you?
Good. You
Uh,
want to do a video or just phone call?
just phone call's good.
All right, perfect. Let me take that off. And what's up?
All good. Are you back home? Like, as in, are you like
Uh,
you leave Brooklyn?
no, yeah. I live only like 40 minutes, half hour from Brooklyn, so I don't live far at all.
Oh, awesome. And were you at the fights last night?
Yes, I was at the fights last night.
What did you think of the fights?
They're actually still really good. Surprisingly, that they lost a couple of high-profile names. They were still good fights, and it was still, fun to watch. It was a little bit shorter night, obviously. It didn't have all the Fight Pass fights, but it was still a good night of fights.
Nice. And you, of course, were in Brooklyn for the big press conference the other day. You're headlining an event in a couple of months. You were sitting at the conference with a lot of big stars. So, what was the whole experience like for you?
Um, it wasn't anything. It was just something new to do as a press conference, but for like main events. Besides that, it was good. It was the usual. I go in the back, got to meet some of the guys, bullshit and talk. Marlon's manager tries starting stuff with me all the time. Has a grudge against me or something, and
What happened?
that's pretty much it.
Did
The
something
usual,
happen this time around?
huh?
I said, did something happen this time around, like backstage and stuff in Brooklyn?
Nah, he just trying to start again. He has to have some say or try to pick a fight always.
All right. So, it wasn't like any backstage altercation or anything like that?
Nah, I just laughed at him. I thought he was funny. He's a goon. He's a manager that tries to act all tough, but he should just be professional and just manage his guys and stop worrying about other guys.
All right. And there was some back and forth between you and Moraes. Did you expect him to come at you like that?
I honestly have no idea what he said when we in the face off. He really mumbled his words and didn't speak clearly. I had no idea when we faced off. The back and forth on the mic. Um, yeah, I mean I know him and he's a really nice guy, so it's a lot of his manager. But I think he's just trying to build the fight too as well. He doesn't really have much to say about the whole fact we're fighting June 1st, and we're gonna put on a show, and I'm gonna go in there and do my thing.
And it's been quite the roller coaster since your last fight. I mean, first you were booked against Cruz, and he was forced out of UFC 219, and then trying to find a replacement, then having the back and forth with Moraes and his manager. Describe to me that whole process, because I know you as a fighter don't want to be dealing with all that before a fight.
Not which part do you want me to describe?
Whatever you want to talk about, like just the whole
Uh,
process. Yeah.
no, I mean Marlon tried saying some stuff about. Honestly, watching back in the press conference, something about fighting other fighters, and my whole concept was, and like I said, I was like, I'm not trying to fight backwards. I fought Almeida, who was right behind me. I wanted to fight forwards. That's why the Cruz fight made sense. And then when they did the Lineker fight, they gave me a new contract, and that made sense. So after this, they didn't want anybody besides Marlon to fight. So that's kind of, I guess, who they're trying to push, maybe the UFC. And so I'm gonna go in there and do my thing and get the win on June 1st. In the back, every time whether I walk in and just mind my own business or it's my manager or something like that, his manager always has something to say. So it's always like he's bickering, but he won't do anything. He just he's like one of those little chihuahuas that just it's very small and just needs to bark, bark, bark. But besides that, that's all they'll do is bark. He wouldn't do anything else. Um, and that's pretty much it.
All right, and you ended up going on your honeymoon, a honeymoon that you unfortunately had to postpone multiple times. Where did you end up going, and how was it?
Oh, it was unbelievable, beautiful. Went to Costa Rica.
Nice.
Had a blast with my wife. It was great. You know what I mean? It was really good. So when he brought up my honeymoon in the press conference, I laughed. I'm like, "You bring up my honeymoon with my wife that I had rescheduled, 3 times. I'm about to reschedule a third time on her." And I was like, "Nah, we're gonna go on our honeymoon, and relax. We'll figure something out when I get back for a fight." But then you have the two guys sitting in front of me, Cody and TJ, who are not fighting right away. Well, at least Cody took a little bit of time off because he had his baby, but he still took time off. And you had TJ, who just recently had his baby that took time off. So when it comes to like family things and stuff like that, I just think it's kind of stupid for him to bring up. He brought up his holidays and he got to enjoy Christmas and all that, but I didn't get to enjoy my holidays. So when it comes down to that, I'm like, well, I'm gonna enjoy my honeymoon with my wife and take some time. I haven't had a vacation in a while, and I think you're just bringing up something that's completely stupid, and you're not really the brightest. Not really the brightest. Put it towards that. So when he said the whole thing about my honeymoon, I was like, you're an idiot. I'm like, I had something planned that I'm not going to reschedule a third time. And I was planning on fighting December 30th. And I gave him the opportunity to fight January 20th. So they said no to the 30th because that was like a 6-day notice. So I said, all right, we could fight January 20th. If he really wants to fight, we could fight the 20th. And he said no on that. I'm like, you keep saying no. And then he started complaining upstage. I was like, dude, we're fighting June 1st. Just take it and shut the fuck up.
And timeline-wise, it didn't turn out all too bad because, you got to go on your honeymoon, which obviously is awesome. And like you said, TJ and Cody, like whether it would be injuries or taking time off with their family, TJ didn't know whether he was going to fight Demetrius Johnson or not. And now timeline-wise, with you booked in June against Moraes and them fighting in August, it's not too bad at the end of the day because now it seems like there's a bit of a clearer picture in terms of the bantamweight division. But I wanted to ask you about something that I noticed in the press conference when TJ and Cody were going back and forth. They're talking about trilogies and super fights and Dominic Cruz. Do you feel like you're being overlooked? Should you get a win over Moraes, do you feel like they're overlooking you and just talking about other matchups, fighting each other, super fights, Cruz, and all that?
I didn't think TJ was. TJ was really, at the end, saying whoever the UFC puts in front of him, because at the end of the day, he wanted to fight Johnson, and now he's not going to be able to fight Johnson, and he wanted to fight Cruz before, but, Cruz is still hurt, so, it's like a gray area, but, so they said Cody, and he agreed to Cody in August, but Cody's trying to pick the easy fights, you know what I mean, and I was going to jump in and say something, but it's not really me. I'm like, I'll speak my mind about something, but I don't know, I felt awkward to jump in, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I thought about it actually numerous times after the press conference. I should have said something because Cody started bringing up Cruz and stuff like that. I was like, you're bringing up all these other people. You got two guys behind you basically fighting for the number one contendership. And, Dana White's not saying yes, it's for the number one contendership or no, it's not for the number one contendership. He's kind of in the middle. It's like a maybe. I guess it all depends on who wins, you know what I mean, and what they want to do. But at the end of the day, it's like, all right, well, Cody, stop looking at the easy fights. Fight the winner of Marlon and me. That's the harder fight, and he knows that.
Nice. Now, of course, you've got the big fight coming up. 5-round fight. First one in your UFC career, and first one, I believe, since 2011. How do you plan on preparing for a 5-rounder this time around? Would you plan on doing differently?
Nothing differently. Just training for the fight and doing the same thing I've done for other 5-rounders. I've been through 5-rounders before. It's nothing different, and it was nice to have a little extra time, not be rushed. I know they wanted us on the Jersey card, but told them I wasn't going to make a decision on anything until I got back from my honeymoon. I wanted to relax and enjoy some time to myself from work and from training and that. So it's nice to have that time to train for the fight, that extra time, and there's no rush to get in shape. And just doing the same thing. There's nothing different to ever do. I go in there, train my ass off every day, and look to get my hand raised on June 1st.
And this is New York. You fought in Long Island, your last one. This is New York, Utica. But how was the whole experience of fighting in New York? Obviously, it's a lot easier for your friends and family to come and support.
Oh, it's great. I loved it that it was in New York. It's only 3 hours from where I live. It's great. I don't have to worry about flying family out and getting tickets and all that. It's close by, and we're able, my family's able to come out, and I have to worry about it. It's awesome experience fighting in New York. I like New York. I work in New York City Monday through Saturday, so it's great. I love New York. I love New York City. I love New York State itself, and being up in the countryside. And it's nice to have fun and to get the best of both worlds in a way. If you think about it, New York has, the tri-state area and all that, the Bronx, but then you go up to New York State, just a half hour north, and you get the countryside too. So it's really cool.
Awesome. And let's talk about the matchup. What do you make of Moraes as an opponent, and how would you break down his skill set?
I just think he's tough. Skill wise, I know I'm the better fighter. I'm I've trained with him. I know I'm the better fighter. In all, he's a tough fighter. He's got some little things that he does. Was his stand up, and that's really it.
And you say you trained with him. Like, did you get some good sparring rounds in the past? Was it just super brief training? Yeah.
I got some spar rounds in the past, but it was like always like after I did a couple rounds with Frankie or something like that. I did a couple rounds with him, or and that was pretty much it. It was like 2 years ago when I was training for the Faber fight. We went down and trained a lot with Frankie. Like once a week, I would go down there and spar. And after a little while, they started putting like Marlon in towards the end. If I did 2 rounds with Frankie, I would do 2 rounds with Marlon, or I would do 4 rounds or 5 rounds with Frankie and like a round with Marlon. Just, I guess, another guy to kind of throw in the mix and rotate.
Mm-hmm. And have you been impressed with his run in the UFC? Of course, he's coming off that big knockout win over.
No, I'm not impressed at all with his run in the UFC. He had a loss to Sansal. He had a questionable win with Dotson, which a lot of people felt that Dotson won. And, Sterling left himself open, and he even said, Marlon was like, I was just trying to go for a high kick, and his knee hit his face as he was trying to throw a round kick up to the head. And it happened. Sterling put himself in a bad predicament for a shot and ate a knee. And I honestly don't think there's a lot of hype behind him, but other people do, and I'm going to go end that hype June 1st.
And this is maybe the first time that you take on, at least in your UFC career, that you take on someone that maybe you've got a little bit of bad blood with. Does that change anything for you? Because you've had to think about this guy for a while now.
I don't have bad blood with him. I just hate his manager and how his manager disrespected my wife. So I'm going to go in there and take everything out on him. Because his manager would never get in the cage or never fight, and he won't do anything. Like I said, he's like a little chihuahua, just barks, little dog, but he won't do anything. So I'm looking forward to, I have a lot of animosity build up towards his manager, and I'm just going to take it out on Marlon. And, as his bad blood comes, it really is because of his manager. And at the end of the day, I'm going to go in there and do my thing. And it just kind of fuels the fire. Like every time I come in and he says something, his manager, it's just added more fuel. It's just filling up the gas tank even more. And it makes it even better to get in there and fucking punch him in the face, and knowing that it's all his manager's fault, but I'm going to get to release it and release it on one of his fighters.
I see. And where do you feel like a win over Moraes will put you in the bantamweight division? Should you get a win, are you gonna get on the mic and then make your claim like I'm next?
Of course, I'm going to get on the mic and say I'm next, and it should give me a title shot. Over a win over. That's 6 wins. That's more than Cody did. That would be my 21st fight in a row win, and definitely think I deserve a title shot. And I'm going to get on the mic and give my opinion.
Yeah, because, when TJ talks about deserving or earning a shot, because he had a lot to say after he beat Cody, whether he was saying it to Cody or Cruz, and he was saying, I feel like there's no clear-cut contender. But I feel like a lot of people forget that he beat Mike Easton to get a title shot. No disrespect to Mike Easton, but in your case, it's nice to have a fresh face in the division, especially that you're undefeated in the UFC, and should you beat Moraes as well?
Yeah, listen, I'm one of those guys that's not gonna chase, a 45 fight or a 125 fight. Obviously, if they need someone to come in last minute at like 45, or like that instance was Khabib. We put my name down. I said, I'll fight Khabib. Tell my manager I'm already training. I'm in shape for a 5-rounder. We could go for it. But, obviously the UFC, had their own plans. They were trying to get other guys in there that are 55ers. So I'm not going to argue the fact. I just said I'm willing to go in there and keep the card together. And that's pretty much it. Besides that, one of the things I admired, especially from, Anderson Silva, Aldo, Demetrius Johnson, is that the fact is they're in their weight class and defend their belt numerous times. They don't jump back and forth. You know what I mean? They're in there and defend it numerous times. And that's what I want to be. I want to be one of those champions to go in there and defend my belt and against the people in my weight class that I haven't fought yet and that are in the top 10, top 15.
Yeah, because back in the day, the whole super fight thing would come once you've cleaned out the division, right? I feel like it's a new trend these days where people are like defending their belt once or twice and already talking about super fights.
Exactly. They're all chasing the money fight. At the end of the day, I leave the money to my manager to handle all that. You know what I mean? I don't really get my bread and butter is not really was fighting the UFC. That's like petty cash. That's my extra cash that I could do something nice for my family or my wife. My school does really well, and I work really hard in it. So um, that's really what I mean. My main focus is on. But when I have a fight, obviously I got to take it away a little bit and really focus on who's in front of me. So this way I don't go in there and get my ass whooped. But really, at the end of the day, I don't care about the money fights. I just want to be known as one of the best champions and defended his belt like Demetrius Johnson, and went through the division and didn't jump around. You know what I mean? If they need a last minute replacement or something like that, that's different. I'll jump in. You know what I mean? Especially if it's like 145 or 155. Yeah, but besides that, that's it.
Nice. And with the upcoming fight between TJ and Cody, who do you think takes the rematch?
Honestly, at the end of the day, I want TJ to win. You know what I mean? I think Cody's way easier fight than TJ. TJ's got that unique style, and Cody's just easier fight than him. But I want TJ to win. Just the fact that I don't like Cody or Marlon, they have the same manager. I hate him, so I just don't want Cody to lose.
All right, I see. And one last thing, how does the fight with Moraes go down? How do you get the job done?
I'm looking for a knockout. You know what I mean? If I grab his head or something like that, I'll go for that too. But either way, I'm looking for a finish. If I don't get the finish, it goes to distance. I wouldn't be surprised. He's a tough guy. He's not like some Joe Schmo off the street. So either way, I'm prepared whether it goes 5 rounds or I get the finish or anything like that. Obviously, every fighter wants to finish, but they can't predict if they're going to get it or not. And, it's kind of hard to get the finish, too, when someone's not staying in front of you and they're running away. So I can't predict what's going to happen that night. I can't predict, if he starts running away from me, I'm not going to chase him all night. I'll stay in the middle of the ring, wait for him.
Absolutely, and I feel like you've received a little bit of criticism because of the recent decision wins, but it's a very valuable experience now when you're coming in your first 5-rounder in the UFC that you've logged in all those minutes.
Yeah, I don't really care what people say if I get a decision or not. Sometimes it happens. Like last fight, I didn't fight as well as I should. I was looking for the knockout the whole time and was, trying to prove a point, and that's not how I should fight. And then, who was the fight before that I had after that? I had Faber and I had another Yuri Alcantara. And, it was kind of hard because every time I would come in with Faber, he would back away. So it was kind of hard to try to finish him. And then the last round I had half my vision. I had one eye working, the other one wasn't. And then I had the same thing as Yuri Alcantara. He stayed away the whole time. It's what people don't realize is like one of my best fights that all time I love was Pedro Munoz's fight because he stood in the pocket and he fought. He didn't run away. So that fight was epic. Like that was an unbelievable fight, and I had so much fun. And I know he did, and we had a blast and a lot of mutual respect. But he didn't run away. And when you get guys that run away, if you ever have someone, fans don't realize you got to watch a guy. If he's standing in the pocket, it's going to be good. But if he's running away, then it's not going to be good. And you see it happen all the time. Like last night when Qatar was fighting the Brazilian, in the first round or so, he got rocked a little bit. And he was running away and making angles. He didn't stay really in front. You know what I mean? And that's what happens. You want to finish someone, they can't. If they're running away, you're not going to finish them. But if they're staying in the pocket with you, then you're going to see fireworks, and that's what fans want to see. And it all depends on the other guy.
Absolutely. Well, Jimmy, I really appreciate the time. It's going to be a great fight. It goes down June 1st in Utica, New York. It's good to see the bantamweight division kind of back in action. We got a title fight. This, in my opinion, should definitely be the number one contender fight, especially with, we're unsure with Dominic Cruz when he's going to come back. I feel like it would make sense if they matched him up with Rafael Sansao. I'm no matchmaker, but I feel like it's good to see the bantamweight division back on track, and it's definitely going to be a good one. 5-round fight, very close to your hometown. Best of luck June 1st, and thank you so much for your time.
No problem. Thank you.